So last April, right, the markets sold off, took a deep dive, right? But what if I told you you could have made money during this time, right? You could have made real money because a lot of times when markets pull back, it's an opportunity to buy. And a lot of times, because that's not always the case, but when it comes to last year when tariffs were announced, that was the case. Just ask people who've been in the market for a while, right? But if you're here, it's because you're trying to understand how to invest into the stock market. Well, guess what? I have you covered, right? And this is why. Listen to this. Listen to this stat. Had you bought $10,000 worth of Nvidia at the lows last year, so at the lows, Nvidia was trading at $86 after tariffs were announced. What if I told you that $10,000 would have been at around $21,000, right? Because Nvidia went from $86 at the lows all the way to around $186 at year end last year. So if you want to know how to make your money work for you, you want to get started investing into the stock market, stick around. I'm going to show you how. Hi, I'm Mel. I'm the person that's going to help you change how you view money, right? I think that a lot of us are so used to trading time for dollars. Well, on my channel, I teach you how to make your money work for you, right? So in this video, we're going to be talking about getting started investing into the stock market. So very beginner, very intro level, but this is what a lot of us need. So give me 10 minutes of your time. Go ahead and like, subscribe. Please share my content. Help me grow my channel. So let's get into the video. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to select a brokerage. And you may be wondering, what is a brokerage? So think about a brokerage like a bank where your stocks are held, right? And there's all different types of brokerages that you can use. Me personally, I use Fidelity, and this is no way sponsored by Fidelity. This is just who I use. I've been with them for about 6 years. Great customer service, low fees, but you also have brokerages like Charles Schwab, Vanguard, even Robinhood. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily agree with some of the decisions that they've made in the past, but it is a brokerage account. It's a way to get started. It's user friendly. So that could be an option, right? So once you go into this brokerage account, whatever platform that you choose, is going to ask you to open an account, right? So you have different types of accounts that you can open. You have a Roth IRA, then you have just a regular brokerage account. And I'm not going to go into the specifics of a Roth versus a brokerage. I will tell you this though, when it comes to a Roth, there are some tax advantages. And you do have to have an earned income, meaning that you have to have a salary coming in to open up a Roth IRA versus a brokerage account. There is no real tax benefits with a standard brokerage account. So I will say that, but I'm not going to go into specifics. If you do want specifics, just type Roth IRA and we'll maybe talk about it in another video. But so yeah, so the first thing you want to do is select a brokerage account. And once you open it, you're going to decide on what type of brokerage account you want, Roth versus a regular brokerage account. And then from there, you're just going to answer just basic information. So it's going to ask you things like your name, your date of birth, your social security number. And then it's going to ask you things about your current income, how long you've been investing. So be prepared to just have the proper documentation if you need certain things in front of you. And just take your time. Don't feel like you have to do it all in one sitting, but you want to open up a brokerage account. I would say that is step number one to get started investing. All right, so the second thing that you want to do is you need to actually fund your account, right? You need money on your brokerage account to actually buy the stocks. So what I did was I linked my bank account directly. I have banking with Wells Fargo, so I linked my Wells Fargo account directly to my Fidelity account, and just say if I said I want to buy $500 worth of stock every week, for example, I could literally go on there and I can take $500 off of my Wells Fargo account and I can put it directly on my brokerage account. And I have to give it time to clear. So if you do put money onto your brokerage account, just give it a couple of days if you don't see it right away, if you can't buy right away. A lot of times you can buy stock right away. Now you can't sell it the same day, but a lot of times once you transfer the money over from your financial institution to your brokerage account, it's usually already on on there for you to trade. Just know that if you do decide to buy a stock that same day that you put your money on there, you have to let the funds clear for you to sell. But a lot of times you can buy. And so you may be wondering, how much do I get started with? Really, I'm going to tell you this. So today, there's usually no minimums to get started with most of these platforms. They allow you to put $10 on there. That's all you have to invest, right? So I don't want you to make excuses as to, oh, well, I don't have enough money. Think about what you can comfortably do. And just do that. Don't reach too high if you know that you can't stick to it. So if you think that you can comfortably do $10, do $10, right? Don't say, oh, well, I'm going to put $100 on there every time I get paid. And you know that you can't comfortably do that, because what's going to happen is you're going to probably do the all or nothing thing. And you're going to say to yourself, oh, well, since I can't do all of the 100, I'm just not going to do any of it. So think about what you can comfortably do and do it. Okay. So once again, the second step is to fund the account, link your financial institution, which is whoever you bank with, to your brokerage platform. All right, now time for the fun part. Time to actually buy the stock, okay? So you've opened the brokerage account and you funded the account, but buying the stock is where it gets good, right? So you may be wondering, okay, so what do I buy? What do I need to spend my hard-earned money on? What I did and what I preach to especially new people, because you don't know at this time much about the stock market and you don't really know how to value companies, is index funds and ETFs, right? So what are index funds? Index funds and ETFs are like a basket of stocks. It's a collection of stocks all in one that helps you be diversified. And diversification is something that you're going to hear multiple times on your investment journey. But I want to put this into perspective, right? So say, for example, you have Meta. You wanted to own Meta because Meta is a great company. So as of this recording, Meta is trading at about $650. What if I told you, though, that you can own Meta and other great companies like Google, Amazon, Apple? You can own Meta plus 499 other companies for pretty much the same price that it would cost you to own one share of Meta. And this is the SPY, the SPY. This is the ETF that tracks the S&P 500, or the top 500 companies in America. So diversification is something that I preach. I think that this is how true wealth is made, through index fund investing and ETF investing. You've opened the brokerage account, you funded the account, and now you have bought the actual ETFs or individual shares. But once again, I am an advocate for starting out with ETFs when you first get started investing into the stock market. Okay, so now that you've bought the stock, you want to do something that is so powerful in the investment community, and that is DCA, or dollar cost averaging, right? So dollar cost averaging is just basically you saying that I'm going to buy X amount of stock every 2 weeks, or X amount of stock every week or every month. You're not timing the market. You're willing to buy it high. You're willing to buy it low. You're willing to buy it in the middle. And this is why there's a saying that timing, or time in the market, is more important than time in the market. And I promise you that's so true. Back when I was travel nursing during COVID, of course, travel nurses at the time were making a lot of money. So every other week, I was putting like 30% of my check, literally every other week. So bi-weekly, I was putting 30% of my check in the stock market. I was buying an ETF or index fund at the time, and I didn't worry about what the price was. I was just buying. And let me tell you, by the end of the year, I was up a pretty significant amount. I wasn't trying to figure out, oh, well, I'm gonna let the market pull back here, or I'm only gonna buy at this number. No, the power of dollar cost averaging is off the charts when you actually stick to it. So, and especially when you first get started, you don't really understand initially how to, read companies. So just dollar cost average. Put yourself on a schedule. Decide how much you're gonna put into the stock, and decide how often you're gonna do it, and just let it work. Okay, so we made it to the end. We have opened up a brokerage account. We funded it. We've bought some stock, and we're dollar cost averaging every other week or every month, or whatever schedule we've been put on. But I do want to give you some sound advice. I want to give you some things that you should avoid, mistakes to avoid, things that I fell victim to early on in my investment journey, so you won't fall victim to the same thing. Okay, so the first thing is panic selling. So what is panic selling? Panic selling is selling your shares when news come out, some unexpected event, and you end up selling lower than when you actually bought it. Well, let me tell you that most of the time the stock market is positive by year end when it comes to overall stock market. Okay, like the Dow, the S&P 500, most of the time it is positive versus negative. We have had some negative years. I'm not telling you that it's never negative, but for the most part it's positive, right? So think about it, like I said in the beginning of the video. Had someone bought stock when the markets were pulling back during the tariff announcement, you would have been up a nice little percentage of your money, versus if you would have sold then, you would have been down, you would have sold at a loss, versus just kind of holding on and being patient, right? So please don't panic sell. That's something that I've done before. It's not a good feeling. Honestly, when news comes out, just don't even look at it, or don't even open up your account, because you're going to be looking at those numbers fall and you may be enticed to panic sell. But don't panic sell. And then the second thing I would say is don't chase hype stocks, right? Don't chase meme stocks. You're going to be left holding the bag, okay? And this is why I say that when you're first starting out, you hear about everybody talking about a certain stock and you feel like, oh, well, I need to go buy. Well, let me tell you, if everybody is talking about it, it's probably ran its course. It's probably already at a level where it should not be at in the first place. And you're going to buy high and it's going to pull back and you're going to end up selling low, right? Unless you know how to value companies, unless you know how to sit down and you know how to read income statements and cash flow statements and balance sheets, don't chase hype. Don't buy something just because someone else told you to. Don't even buy just because I tell you to. Always be willing to do your own research when it comes to stock market investing. All right, guys, so that's really all I have for you. I hope I gave you the tools that you feel like is necessary to get started. This was a very intro level, very beginner level, but we have to always have a solid foundation when we're trying to, get started investing our money, because we don't want to take our hard-earned money and just, blow it, throw it away. We want to actually make it work for us. So I thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe, like, share, help me grow my channel, and thank you guys for watching.